Hello all. Today we're going to teach you how to unpack Nepenthes. So when you receive it, you're going to receive your plant separate from your pot. The reason for that is when we leave it in a pot, there's a chance that the soil might damage the plant. So we rather have you receive a perfect plant than a potted plant with damage. So unpacking is really easy. You just open it. Make a nice hole in the middle. Unpack your plant. If I can open it. There we go. Now, unpacking the plant is really straightforward. We're using towel paper, so it's not like toilet paper that's going to break apart easily. And you just unroll it, revealing a nice healthy plant for you. So planting it, again, it's always about the roots. The roots must face down as far as possible. You don't want the roots to face up. So get the roots together as far as possible. Make sure your hole is big enough to fit all the roots and fit it in there. All the roots are facing down. I don't worry if it ends up on the side of the pot. For me, it must just be that the roots are in the center. So the roots ended up in the center, but the plant moved because of the shape of the roots. So there we go. And then important part, watering. First thing I do is I make sure that there's no soil of any kind on the leaves. Make sure that the leaves are nice and clean, especially the crown. Don't want to see nothing in the crown. If there's anything I can see on the leaves, if I turn it, I just squirt it off. And then important, very important, make sure you water it so the water can come out from the bottom. You can see the bottom there, there's some holes there. We need to water until the water comes out from the bottom, and we water the whole surface, not just partially, the whole surface, until it comes out from the bottom. That should be enough. Something I see there, you see that picture is in the soil. I would rather put it on the side, and I will use the spray gun just to make sure that in that bend of the picture I see there's a piece of debris in the bend. As you can see there. So I'm just gonna squirt that off, and I see in this picture as well, and in the bend. There we go. So now I know my leaves are nice and it's nice, and you can see I've put enough water. It's dripping from the bottom, so I know it's wet right through. If you keep it in a pot like this, it's very important to allow it to dry out. So don't keep it with water all the time. While if you remember, if you keep it in a pot like this, you can keep it in water all the time. Thank you. The plant will be separate from the pot. Put the soil back in the pot. Look at the length of the roots. And what I like to do is I like to spray the roots a little bit so they're wet and hanging down. Easier to plant them this way. And I'm actually hydrating the plant now as well after the time it was in travel. And then I take something I can make a hole with. Make a nice hole. Look at the length of the plant, make sure that it's there and the hole is bigger than the roots, the root system. I place it inside the hole, and then slowly from all four sides just add more pressure, a little bit more pressure, a little bit more pressure, until you get to not too bad. It's like if you put this pressure on a child, it's not going to hurt the child. If you put more pressure than that, you know you're gonna have a problem. And there you go. And then you just need to spray, remove all the swell from the leaves that ended up there during the process, especially the crown. Make 100% sure that the crown and inside the leaves are empty. And then I like just to put a little bit of water into the cup if it's open. We've only got one cup that's open, so there's a squirt of water in there. And now I do top watering. Make sure that it's all nice and wet. And I do top watering until I see water come out from the bottom. So I would add a little bit like this everywhere. And you will notice on this specific pot, the holes is in the middle, so it cannot suck water from the legs. So if I do top watering, there's no airlock in the middle, and I do this until I see water coming out from the bottom. That way I know my soil is totally saturated. And if you've got a long pot like I've got here, you can allow this to stand in water for more than a day, because the length of the pot, you know, it's not going to give you root rots too easy. And now let's check at the bottom. I've got a feeling it should be there. Yeah, there's the water, and it's perfect. So now I know the soil is totally drenched from the top to the bottom, and I can put the plant where I want it to display, and I know the chances of this plant dying is nearly zero. If you do not follow all these steps, especially the watering, you might end up with a plant that might have an airlock in there, and then the roots dry out and they die. Thank you very much. You will normally receive a pot like this with the soil, but if you want to upgrade to a bigger pot, there will be an option on the website for you to upgrade from this pot to this pot, and have the benefits of allowing it to stand in water and not having a problem. While with this pot, you have to make sure that it dries out not too bad, just so if you touch it on top, it's not damp anymore. Then you need to add water. So I've got too many plants, so we pot our plants in pots like these. When they grow out, when they go for sale, they're going to go into a pot like that.